Let's start with that dramatic rescue in India, because in the past few minutes, the first of the 41 construction workers trapped in a collapsed tunnel for more than 2 weeks has just been brought out safely. Let me show you the first worker to emerge, that first image, and there he is, right in the centre of the screen, looking pretty relaxed, obviously relieved to be out. He's said to be in good health after being stranded in the 4.5-kilometre tunnel since the 12th of November. That's 17 days. He's now been taken by ambulance to hospital. Let's go from that still image to the live pictures where that operation is continuing. The workers, the rescue workers, breaking through a little earlier the debris to reach these men. The workers are now being brought out one by one. The latest we're hearing, at least 8 people now out, so they've been pretty speedy. It was thought it would take a number of hours, but already it is being reported that at least 8 people are out. They are being brought out one by one on wheeled stretchers through a 90-centimetre pipe that's been pushed through all of the rubble. And the officials say the evacuation is expected to take a number of hours, but as I was saying there, already they are going pretty smoothly and pretty quickly. Relatives are gathering near that tunnel entrance, waiting to be reunited with their loved ones as they come out. We're watching all of this is our South Asia regional editor, Ambrasan Ethrajan. And Ambrasan, after 2.5 weeks and more, they've finally done it.
It's a great news. It's a welcome news for all those involved in the rescue work, for the families and friends, and for the workers. They managed to stay in this, very small place, and they were like without light, without enough warm clothes. They were able to survive 17 days with some food and medicine sent through another small pipe. And it has come as a big relief for all those involved. A good news for the country. They were waiting for this news. 41 workers, they've been trapped for nearly 17 days. Let me recap how this happened. This is a 4.5-kilometre tunnel, and it was part of a bigger road project to connect some of the most visited Hindu pilgrimage sites in the state of Uttarakhand. This is in the Himalayan state. And a section of this tunnel, when they were working, they just collapsed very close to the, very close to the mouth of the tunnel and trapping these 41 workers. And the authorities for the last 2 weeks tried various means, for example, like going through horizontally through the debris to reach these workers. They wanted to insert a pipe so that the workers can come through this pipe, but then that got into problem because many of these huge machines, they broke down several times, and even taking these machines to this Himalayan region and the hill region was a big challenge. And then they started drilling vertically from the top of the tunnel to reach the workers. So even taking that to the vertical point was a big challenge. They had to clear a lot of trees, and finally what people have been waiting for was this good news of these people coming out one by one. As we speak, we already hear that about 8 workers have already been brought out. We saw the pictures of one of them with an Indian minister who is already inside the tunnel. It is a complex operation, and one of the rescue officials described it as like a battle, because every time they were drilling through, they were encountering challenges, sometimes rocks, sometimes some equipment which got under the debris, sometimes the huge iron girders were inside. So they had to cut through. Finally, they ended up having this manually like drilling work, the rat hole miners. They did the last 10 meters, and that is what they announced earlier today, that they broke through the debris in the morning using these manual drilling work. And now the pipes have been laid, and the National Disaster Management Agency, they were already rehearsing for this work of bringing these men via wheeled stretchers. That would be easier, and also they will not get hurt while crossing through this nearly 60 meters. So now we hear that 8 people have come out, and more people are expected in the next hour or so. But it is a very welcome news, very happy news, not only for Uttarakhand, for rest of the country. This has gripped the media coverage in India, and now finally the welcome news, the good news they were waiting for, is emerging out of Uttarakhand.
And Ambrasan, The numbers are going up relatively quickly. It's now being reported that 13 people are out. So now they've established that route with those wheeled stretchers. They do appear to be actually getting those miners out pretty quickly. In terms of their condition, there were 41. Were there any reports at any stage of people being injured in the original collapse?
Luckily for these workers, there was a water pipe, a smaller water pipe, through which they were able to send food, water and medicine. And they were also communicating with them via radio. And they also sent one endoscopic camera to see the condition of the workers. At that time, most of the workers said they were all in a good condition. Only thing was waiting inside this tunnel in darkness, and it had a psychological impact on many of these workers, and they were getting very impatient when they were talking with officials when we will be rescued. And as the pictures show, there were dozens of ambulances already, some inside the tunnel, some outside, and as soon as they come out, each one will be taken in this ambulance, given a medical test on the same place itself inside the tunnel to see how they are coping with the conditions and is there any injury or any other damage happened during this 17 days. And another hospital nearby has been getting ready to receive these 41 workers, where in case if they have any more serious injury or if they needed further hospitalization, they will be put there for a few days. So the officials also managed to make these backup plans, like you have some kind of a field hospital where inside the tunnel, as soon as they get out, the doctors will be there to take care of them, and then to take them to the nearest hospital. There have been a number of ambulances, and we saw the pictures of doctors with white coats walking inside the tunnel as well. So the authorities have been planning for this for days, and now the workers are coming out. The first priority would be the welfare of these workers. This is again, if any other accident would have happened, if one or two workers die or if any injured, people wouldn't have noticed. But this one is a group of 41 workers. So the news really gripped India. Actually, many newspapers, many television channels have been carrying, in fact, global interest about how they are going to save these people. And the Indian government brought in experts from different countries also to see how the drilling through this debris. Now suddenly the huge debris of about 60 meters fell inside the tunnel. Luckily no one died, and that is why they are now trying to find out how they were bringing these people, and finally it happened. So now the immediate concern for the authorities would be whether all of them are in good health condition.
And Prasanth, we're just watching the live pictures. A huge rescue operation obviously there, but another of the ambulances just heading away. As I say, the latest report, at least 13 of those men now brought to the surface.